Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Hour. I'm your host, Sophia, and today we have an exciting conversation lined up. Our guest today is someone who's been through quite a journey in life and has a lot of wisdom to share. Please welcome Jacob. Jacob, it's great to have you here today.
Thanks, Sophia. I'm excited to be here. It's a pleasure to join you and your listeners. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. So, Jacob, you've had a pretty diverse career and life experiences. What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned so far?
That's a tough one, Sophia, but I think the biggest lesson I've learned is the importance of resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and things don't always go as planned. But the ability to bounce back, learn from failures, and keep moving forward has been invaluable.
That's such a powerful point. Resilience is key, especially when things don't go the way we expect them to. How do you stay resilient when you're facing tough times?
Well, it definitely isn't easy, but one thing I've learned is to keep my focus on the bigger picture. When you're in the middle of a challenge, it's easy to get lost in the details. But if you remind yourself of your long-term goals and why you started in the first place, it can help you push through the tough moments.
That's such great advice. Keeping the bigger picture in mind can really help when you're stuck in the weeds. And what about when you feel completely overwhelmed? How do you handle those moments?
When I feel overwhelmed, I take a step back and try to prioritize. I'll break things down into smaller tasks, focus on one thing at a time, and remind myself that it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes, just taking a breath and allowing myself some space helps me gain perspective.
That's so important, giving yourself space and not being afraid to ask for help. It's easy to try to do everything on your own, but having that support system is crucial.
Absolutely. I think we all try to take on too much ourselves at times, but leaning on others doesn't make you weak. It's actually a sign of strength, knowing when you need assistance and being willing to ask for it.
I couldn't agree more. And I think there's so much power in community. Having a solid support system can make all the difference when you're going through a tough time.
100%. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, knowing that you have people who've got your back can lift you up in ways you might not even realize. It makes you feel less alone in the journey.
Exactly. It's easy to feel isolated when things aren't going well, but then you remember that you're not the only one going through struggles. Everyone faces challenges, and we're all in this together.
Right? And on the flip side, when you see others overcoming their challenges, it can be really inspiring. You realize that if they can push through, so can you.
Yes, seeing others rise above their struggles is incredibly motivating. It gives you the hope and confidence to keep going, knowing that it's possible to get through even the toughest times.
That's why I think it's so important to share our stories and experiences. You never know how your journey can impact someone else's. Sometimes, just hearing that someone else has gone through something similar is all it takes to spark hope.
Absolutely. Sharing our stories not only helps us heal, but also helps others feel seen and heard. It creates this sense of connection that's so powerful.
It really does. And I think it's something we need more of, people being open about their struggles and their successes. It can help break down that wall of isolation that many of us feel, especially in challenging times.
That's so true. When we're open and honest about our own experiences, it makes it easier for others to do the same. It fosters this environment of mutual support and understanding.
Exactly, it's like a ripple effect. One person being vulnerable can create space for others to be vulnerable too. And that vulnerability can lead to deeper connections and real, meaningful conversations.
And those connections are what make all the difference. They remind us that we're not in this alone, and that we have each other to lean on when things get tough.
Yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's about showing up for each other, whether it's offering a helping hand, a listening ear, or just a word of encouragement.
Well said, Jacob. And I think we could all use a little more of that kindness, understanding, and support. What's one thing you would want to leave our listeners with today?
I'd say keep going, no matter what. Life can be unpredictable, and you might face setbacks, but those setbacks don't define you. Your resilience, your ability to keep pushing forward, that's what defines you. So keep going and don't give up.
That's such a powerful message. Keep going, no matter what, and never give up on yourself. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jacob.
It's my pleasure, Sophia. Thank you for having me on the show today. It's been an amazing conversation.
It really has been. And to everyone listening, remember you're stronger than you think, and you have everything within you to overcome whatever comes your way. Keep moving forward, and you'll get there.
You've got this. Keep going.
And with that, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. Until next time, stay strong, keep growing. And remember, you're never alone in your journey. I love that, Jacob, and I think there's something really powerful in what you just said about not giving up, even when things get tough. It's so easy to lose sight of the bigger picture in the middle of a struggle. But just like you said, it's about pushing through those hard times and trusting that better things are on the horizon.
Definitely. I think sometimes we feel like we're not making progress, but even in the hardest moments, we're still moving forward. It's easy to overlook those small steps, but they all add up.
That's such a great point. It's the small steps that make the biggest difference over time. People often think that success happens in big, dramatic moments. But really, it's the everyday efforts that create lasting change.
Exactly, and sometimes those small steps feel like nothing at all in the moment. But when you look back, you realize how far you've come just by staying consistent.
It's all about consistency. And the more consistent you are, the more those little actions build momentum. It's like you're creating a snowball effect that just keeps growing.
And sometimes that momentum carries you through when you don't feel like going anymore. It's like you've already put in the work, and it becomes easier to keep going because you've built that rhythm.
Yes, once you get into that flow, things start to feel less difficult. It's almost like you've trained yourself to keep going, even when it seems hard. You trust in your ability to push through.
That's the thing, Sophia. The more you show up for yourself, the more you believe in your own strength. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. And the more persistent you are, the easier it gets to keep moving forward.
Right. It's the persistence that pays off. And I think sometimes people don't realize how powerful persistence can be. It's not about getting everything right every time. It's about showing up again and again, no matter what.
Exactly. And you don't have to have everything figured out right now. You just need to take the next step. Don't worry about the whole journey at once. Focus on the next step, and the rest will follow.
That's such valuable advice. So many people feel overwhelmed when they look at the big picture. But breaking it down into smaller steps makes it more manageable. You're not trying to conquer everything all at once.
Exactly. And it's important to remind yourself that it's okay to take things one step at a time. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourself and enjoy the journey.
Yes, pacing yourself is key. It's easy to rush through life, thinking you need to accomplish everything right now. But giving yourself space to grow and move at your own pace is just as important as the destination itself.
Absolutely. Sometimes the journey is just as valuable as the end goal. And you learn so much about yourself along the way.
You do. And that's something I think a lot of people miss. They're so focused on the end result that they forget to enjoy the process and learn from each experience along the way.
Right. And those lessons along the way, they often teach you things you didn't expect to learn. It's like every step prepares you for what's next, even if you don't see it at the time.
That's true. Life has a funny way of teaching you exactly what you need, when you need it. Sometimes, you think you're just going through the motions. But when you look back, you realize all those moments had a purpose.
I couldn't agree more. And that's why you can't rush through life. You have to trust that every experience, whether good or bad, has its place in the bigger picture.
Trusting the process is everything. And that's something that I think we could all use a little more of trust in ourselves and in the journey we're on.
Exactly. And sometimes that means accepting that not everything is going to go according to plan. But even when things go off track, you learn something valuable from it.
So true. It's all about perspective, right? You can either see obstacles as roadblocks or as opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. It's all about how you frame it. The same situation can feel totally different depending on how you choose to look at it.
I think that's something people forget. How much power they have over their perspective. It's easy to feel like a victim of circumstances, but really, we have the ability to choose how we react to situations.
100%. And once you realize that, it's a game changer. You start to feel more in control even when things feel out of your hands. Your mindset becomes your superpower.
Yes. And I think the more we can shift our mindset to one of growth and possibility, the more we can handle whatever life throws our way.
Absolutely. When you approach challenges with a mindset of growth, you stop seeing them as setbacks. You start seeing them as stepping stones to something greater.
That's such a powerful way to look at it. And it really changes the way you move through life. Instead of being stuck in frustration, you can focus on what you can learn from every situation.
And that's what makes life exciting, right? Every day brings new opportunities to learn, to grow, and to improve.
Exactly. And it's important to embrace that, even when it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Growth is still growth, no matter how slow it feels.
Definitely. The key is to keep going. Even if it's slow, progress is progress. And it all adds up in the end.
So true. And with that, I think we've covered so many great points today. I'm sure our listeners have taken away a lot from this conversation.
I hope so. It's been a really inspiring chat, and I'm glad I could share my thoughts with everyone.
And I'm really grateful for your time, Jacob. This has been such an amazing discussion. Thank you so much for being here today.
It's been my pleasure, Sophia. Thanks for having me on the show.
And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in today. Remember, keep pushing forward, keep growing, and embrace the journey. You've got this. We'll see you next time on the English Hour. Before we wrap up, Jacob, I just want to ask one last thing. What advice would you give to someone who feels stuck or overwhelmed and isn't sure how to start moving forward?
Great question, Sophia. I think the first thing I'd say is it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's part of the process. But the key is to take a step back and breathe. Sometimes we get caught up in the noise of everything that's happening, and it feels like too much. In those moments, try to focus on what you can control right now. Don't worry about everything at once, just take one thing at a time.
That's really good advice. Focusing on the present moment, instead of stressing about the future, can definitely help clear your mind.
Exactly. And remember, no small action is ever insignificant. Even if it feels like you're not making huge progress, those small steps build up over time. Just keep moving forward, even if it's at a pace that feels slow.
That's such a comforting thought. Sometimes, when you're in the thick of it, you forget that small progress is still progress. Every little action counts.
Absolutely. And another thing I'd add is to not be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's from a friend, a mentor, or even just reading a book or listening to a podcast for new perspectives, it's okay to seek guidance. You don't have to do it all alone.
Yes, asking for help is such an important part of growth. We sometimes think we have to have everything figured out by ourselves, but reaching out can make all the difference.
Right, and sometimes a fresh perspective is exactly what you need to unlock the next step. So, don't be afraid to lean on others.
Such great advice, Jacob. I really think that's a message everyone needs to hear. It's okay to not have it all figured out. Just keep moving forward at your own pace, and ask for help when you need it.
Exactly. Progress doesn't always look the same for everyone, but it's progress just the same. Keep going and trust that things will fall into place.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you again, Jacob, for this amazing conversation today. I know it's going to inspire so many of our listeners.
It's been a pleasure, Sophia. Thanks for having me on. I'm sure your listeners are all going to keep pushing forward with renewed energy after this.
Absolutely, and thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Remember, you're not alone in this journey, and every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Stay strong, keep growing, and we'll catch you next time on the English Hour.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now. You know, Jacob, there's something else I've been thinking about. Sometimes people focus so much on the end goal that they forget to enjoy the journey. What's your take on that?
That's such a good point, Sophia. It's easy to get wrapped up in reaching the destination, but the journey is where all the learning and growth happens. If we don't take the time to appreciate the process, we miss out on a lot. You might think you're just going through the motions, but every experience, every mistake, every small victory is part of your story.
That's so true. It's like we've been taught to always look ahead. But if we don't pause and look around, we'll miss out on the moments that really shape us.
Exactly. And sometimes the best moments are the ones we didn't expect. I've found that some of the most rewarding experiences happen when I stop stressing over the destination and just enjoy where I am right now.
Yeah, and I think that mindset shift is really powerful. If you can start to enjoy each step, even the tough ones, it makes everything feel more fulfilling, doesn't it?
Definitely. It also changes how we handle setbacks. Instead of seeing them as failures, we can start viewing them as part of the journey, as lessons that teach us how to improve and adapt.
That's a great way to look at it. I think a lot of people are afraid of failure, but if they could see it as an opportunity to learn, it would make it a lot less intimidating.
I think the fear of failure often comes from the pressure to be perfect or to succeed quickly. But if we can embrace the idea that perfection isn't the goal, it's growth that matters, we can start to see setbacks as stepping stones rather than obstacles.
Exactly, that's such a refreshing perspective. So, how do you personally stay grounded and keep enjoying the journey, even when things get tough?
For me, it's all about remembering why I started in the first place. Whether it's a project, a goal, or even a relationship, I try to reconnect with that original motivation. When things get tough, I look back at why I was excited about it in the first place. That usually helps me push through.
I love that. Revisiting the why is so important. It brings everything back into focus and reminds you of your purpose, even when things feel overwhelming.
Exactly. And also, I try to take breaks and recharge. Sometimes when you're in the middle of a challenge, it's easy to get lost in it. But taking a step back, giving yourself space to breathe, and then coming back with fresh eyes can make all the difference.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that too. Stepping away for a moment doesn't mean giving up. It's actually a way to refresh and come back stronger. It's about pacing yourself, not pushing yourself to exhaustion.
100%. I think it's important to recognize that taking breaks isn't a sign of weakness. It's a way to honor yourself and your energy. We can't give our best if we're running on empty.
That's so important to remember. Self-care isn't just about relaxing. It's about maintaining your overall well-being so you can show up fully when it counts.
Absolutely. And I think when you take care of yourself, whether physically or mentally, it makes you more present in everything you do. You can enjoy the journey much more when you're in a good place.
I couldn't agree more. And I think so many people forget that self-care is not selfish. It's a necessity, especially when you're trying to achieve big things. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Well said. It's like you've got to fill your cup first before you can pour into others or into your work. You can't do your best if you're running on fumes.
Exactly. And I think that mindset helps avoid burnout, too. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and grind. But without taking care of ourselves, we end up doing more harm than good.
Definitely. We live in a world where grinding is celebrated, but that constant hustle without rest can really take a toll. It's about finding that balance, working hard, but also knowing when to rest and recharge.
And that's a huge challenge for a lot of people, especially in today's fast-paced world. There's always something that needs attention. But if we don't slow down and recharge, we're doing ourselves a disservice.
Right. And it's not just about physical rest, mental rest is just as important. Sometimes we need to give our minds a break, step away from the stress, and just let ourselves be. It's amazing how much clearer things become when you give your brain the space to relax.
That's so true. Mental rest can often be more powerful than physical rest, because when your mind is clear, it helps you see things from a different perspective. You become more creative and problem solving becomes easier.
Exactly. It's like hitting the reset button. Sometimes we need to clear the clutter in our heads so we can think more clearly and make better decisions.
Absolutely. It's such a good reminder to not only take care of our physical health, but to also prioritize mental health. Both are essential for long-term success and happiness.
Well said, Sophia. I think if more people understood that balance, they'd feel more at peace with their progress and less stressed about where they're headed.
I couldn't agree more. And that's why conversations like this are so valuable. It helps us all remember what truly matters, not just the end goal, but the journey, the growth, and the self-care along the way.
Exactly. It's a long road, but it's one worth traveling when we embrace every part of it.
Well said, Jacob. And I'm so grateful for this conversation today. It's given me so much to reflect on. I'm sure our listeners will feel the same way.
I hope so. It's been such a pleasure talking with you, Sophia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, Jacob. And thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Remember, keep going, take care of yourselves, and embrace the journey. Because it's all part of the bigger picture.
Take care, everyone, and keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps.
Bye for now. You know, Jacob, it's really interesting how often we hear people say, I can't wait until I reach this point. But when they get there, it's almost like they're already looking ahead to the next thing. Do you think there's ever really a finish line in life?
That's a tough question. I think the finish line is different for everyone. For some, it's about achieving a specific goal, like landing a dream job or finishing a project. But then there are others who feel like the finish line keeps moving further away, and they're always chasing something new.
Yeah, that's true. It's like this endless cycle of striving. But do you think it's possible to find fulfillment along the way, rather than waiting for that finish line moment?
Absolutely. I think fulfillment comes from the small wins, from the growth that happens in the process, rather than just in achieving some final goal. The journey is really where we learn and evolve. When we focus too much on the finish line, we miss out on the rewards of the journey itself.
That's such a great point. I've also noticed that some people reach their goals, and then they don't feel as satisfied as they thought they would. They're still looking for something else to fulfill them. It's like the pursuit of happiness is constantly moving.
Yeah, it's like that saying, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Sometimes we spend so much time chasing something that we don't appreciate what we already have. I think fulfillment comes from within, not just from external achievements.
I totally agree. If we always base our happiness on external things, we'll never truly feel satisfied. It's about appreciating what's right in front of us. But it's so easy to forget that sometimes, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think social media and society often push this idea that we're not enough unless we're constantly achieving or getting more. It's easy to get caught up in that mindset, always striving for the next big thing.
Absolutely. Social media can sometimes create this illusion that everyone else is living their best life, achieving more, and doing better, which makes us feel like we're behind or not doing enough.
Right? It's like we're always comparing ourselves to others, which is really unhealthy. The truth is, everyone's journey is different, and there's no one-size-fits-all for success. It's important to define success on our own terms, rather than trying to live up to someone else's expectations.
That's such a healthy perspective. And it's something I think more people need to realize. Success isn't about measuring yourself against others, but about being true to your own path, your own values, and your own progress.
Exactly. And sometimes the success we're looking for isn't in grand achievements or accolades. It's in the simple moments, the relationships we build, and the way we feel about ourselves when we're not chasing someone else's version of success.
That's so beautifully said. I think if more people focused on inner peace and contentment, we'd all feel a lot more fulfilled. The constant need to keep up with others or to be the best can create unnecessary stress.
Yes, it's like the pressure to always be on top, always winning, can weigh heavily on us. But when we take a step back and really look at our own lives, we realize that what truly matters is how we feel and how we're growing, not just what we're accomplishing.
I couldn't agree more. And it's important to remember that growth doesn't always happen in big leaps. Sometimes, it's the small, quiet moments of progress that are the most meaningful.
Exactly, small victories, like overcoming a fear, learning something new, or just being kinder to ourselves, are just as important as any big achievement. Those moments matter because they shape who we are and how we see the world.
That's such a powerful reminder. And I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier about enjoying the journey. If we focus too much on big goals, we miss out on all the small, meaningful moments that add up over time.
Right? It's like when you're walking through the forest, you can't just rush to the end, or you'll miss all the beauty along the way. Sometimes, the path itself is where the magic happens.
I love that analogy. Life is so much like a walk in the forest. There's beauty, lessons, and growth in every step, no matter how small. The destination isn't the only thing that matters. It's how we experience the journey.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's the unexpected twists and turns that teach us the most. Those moments we don't plan for, the surprises, they're often what shape us into the people we're meant to be.
Yes, I couldn't have said it better. Life has a way of surprising us. And when we stop trying to control everything, we're able to embrace those surprises with open arms. There's something freeing about that, isn't there?
There really is. When we stop forcing outcomes and just let things unfold naturally, we often end up in places we never expected, but in ways that feel right. It's like learning to trust the process, even when it feels uncertain.
I love that idea, trusting the process. It can be hard to do, especially when things don't go as planned. But there's something really powerful in surrendering to what's meant to be.
Yeah. It's all about letting go of the need for control and just flowing with life. It doesn't mean we don't have goals or ambitions, but it's about having faith that everything will work out as it should, even if it doesn't happen in the way we imagined.
That's such a beautiful mindset to have. And I think when we trust the process, we stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to achieve everything at once. We start enjoying life more, knowing that things are unfolding exactly as they should.
Absolutely. It's like the saying goes, everything happens for a reason. Even if we don't understand it at the time, there's always a purpose behind it. And the more we trust that, the more at peace we become with the journey.
I think that's a great note to end on, Jacob. Trusting the process, enjoying the journey, and being kind to ourselves along the way, those are the things that truly matter.
I couldn't have said it better, Sophia. Thanks for having this amazing conversation with me today. It's been really refreshing.
Thank you, Jacob, for being such a wonderful guest. And thank you to everyone listening. Remember, take care of yourselves, trust the process, and enjoy every step of your journey. See you next time. Jacob, before we wrap up, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. You mentioned earlier that small victories matter. I think it's so important, especially in a world where everything moves so fast. Do you think society sometimes undermines the importance of these small victories?
Absolutely. In today's world, it's all about quick results, instant gratification, and big successes. But the truth is, the small victories are often what build up the momentum needed for the bigger ones. They shape our mindset, help us build confidence, and make us realize that success doesn't always have to be monumental to be meaningful.
You're so right. I feel like sometimes people are so focused on the bigger picture that they forget to appreciate the steps they've already taken. It's easy to get overwhelmed by how much is left to do. But those small victories can really help fuel us forward.
Exactly. It's like climbing a mountain. You're not just focused on reaching the summit, you have to enjoy the climb, take in the views, and appreciate how far you've come, step by step. Every little bit counts toward that bigger goal.
I love that analogy. It makes the process sound a lot less daunting. Often, it's not about how fast we get there, but how much we learn and grow along the way. It's the small wins that keep us going, especially when the bigger goals seem far out of reach.
Yeah, it's all about building momentum. Sometimes just getting through the day, finishing one task, or doing something that challenges you can be a huge win. And those wins keep adding up, one after another.
It's so true. And I think when we start to see those small wins as victories, we begin to shift our mindset. It's no longer about just reaching the end, but finding satisfaction in the journey, the challenges, and the progress we've made.
That's the key, isn't it? Shifting our mindset from, I'll be happy when I reach X, to, I'm happy with where I am, and I'm making progress every day. It's about celebrating the present moment rather than just waiting for a future accomplishment.
And that doesn't mean we stop setting goals or striving for more. It just means we don't let the pursuit, some bigger, overshadow what we're already achieving. We stop measuring ourselves against others and just appreciate our own path.
Exactly. The comparison trap can be so dangerous. We look at others and think we should be where they are, but we forget that everyone's journey is different. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another, and that's okay. We're all on our own path, moving at our own pace.
I think that's such an important point. We often try to fit into someone else's mold, but it's crucial to embrace our individuality. There's no one way to succeed. Success looks different for each of us. And sometimes, it's the unique path that leads to the most fulfilling outcomes.
Absolutely. And success isn't just about what we achieve, it's also about who we become in the process. It's the lessons we learn, the strength we build, and the character we develop. That's what truly shapes us.
I couldn't agree more. It's the inner transformation that really counts, not just the external accomplishments. So, what would you say to someone who's feeling discouraged because they aren't hitting the big goals yet?
I'd say, don't give up. Every single step you take, no matter how small, is progress. You're moving forward, even if it doesn't always feel like it. And remember, everyone's timeline is different. Trust your process, and don't compare your journey to anyone else's.
That's such a good reminder. It's so easy to get caught up in timelines and feel like we're falling behind. But every step forward is a victory. Even on the days when it feels like we're not moving at all, we're still growing in ways we might not even realize yet.
Exactly. Sometimes growth is quiet. It's not always visible right away. But trust that it's happening, even if it's in small, subtle ways. And take time to appreciate where you are now, because it's a result of everything you've already overcome.
You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about how we measure success, and maybe it's time to redefine it. Instead of chasing the big moments, maybe we should focus on the little joys that come with each day.
I love that idea. Success doesn't always have to be about big achievements. It can be about the little moments of happiness, the connections we make, and the simple acts of kindness. Those are the things that really make life meaningful.
Exactly, it's the simple things that matter the most. So, if anyone's listening and feels like they're not where they want to be, just remember small steps. Small wins, they all matter. Progress isn't always big, but it's always important.
Well said. And don't forget to be kind to yourself along the way. You're doing great, even if it doesn't always feel like it. Keep going, and know that every effort you make counts.
That's the perfect way to end this conversation, on a note of encouragement and self-compassion. Thanks so much for sharing these insights, Jacob. It's been an incredible conversation.
Thank you, Sophia. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk through all of this. And to everyone listening, remember you're exactly where you need to be.
Well said. Thank you, Jacob, and thank you to everyone tuning in. Remember, the journey is what matters, and every step counts. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Jacob, before we wrap up, I've been thinking about something you said earlier, about how success isn't always visible. I think that's such an important point. It's so easy to get caught up in the finish line mentality, but sometimes, it's the quiet moments of growth that are just as important.
Exactly. We live in a world where everyone's constantly posting their achievements and milestones on social media, which can make us feel like we need to be doing the same. But I think real success is about those moments that are personal, the ones that only you really understand and appreciate.
Yes, and it's so important to acknowledge those personal victories. Even if no one else sees them, they're still valuable. It could be as simple as getting out of bed when you're feeling down or tackling a task that you've been avoiding. Those are wins too.
Totally. I think we need to get better at celebrating ourselves, not just when we hit big goals, but also when we push through the tough days. It's not about perfection, it's about resilience.
And that's a great point. It's so easy to feel like you're failing when things don't go perfectly. But resilience isn't about doing everything flawlessly, it's about showing up, even when it's hard.
Exactly. Sometimes, showing up is the hardest part. But once you've done that, even if you don't get everything right, you're already ahead. It's all about progress, not perfection.
That's the mindset shift we all need. So many of us are conditioned to think we need to be perfect. But it's okay to be a work in progress. Perfection is a myth, and growth is where the magic happens.
Right? And progress doesn't always mean moving forward in a straight line. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's okay. It's the forward motion that counts, no matter how small.
Absolutely, and every setback is just an opportunity to learn. Sometimes, it's those backward moments that teach us the most about ourselves and where we need to adjust.
Exactly. It's all part of the journey. And as long as you're willing to keep going, even when things feel tough, you're still moving forward.
I think that's such an important message for anyone listening today. If you're feeling stuck or frustrated, remember that it's not about the speed of your progress, it's about the direction. Keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps.
And celebrate those steps, whether it's crossing off one task on your to-do list or simply taking care of your mental health. Those little victories matter.
They really do. And I hope anyone listening feels encouraged to embrace their own journey, no matter how long it takes. The path is just as important as the destination.
And you're not alone on that path. There's always someone out there who understands, who's been through similar struggles. Sometimes just knowing that can make a world of difference.
So true. And remember, no matter where you are in your journey, there's always room for growth, always room for new beginnings. Keep taking those small steps.
And keep believing in yourself. You've got this even on the tough days.
Exactly. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up today's episode. But before we go, I just want to remind everyone to celebrate the small victories and keep moving forward, one step at a time.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me, Sophia. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
The pleasure was all mine, Jacob. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next episode. Keep shining.